Welcome back to my last live feed. I'm a little late, put together some live streams, for Sunday. I'll keep myself ready to do my thing with this countdown of the top 50 underrated classic albums. It's the book right here. So let's continue on with the last live stream. We're gonna end it on a great note. KRS-ONE, Return to Boom Bap. That dropped in '93. The thing about what's important about this album is that it was a solo album. It wasn't no longer BDP, wasn't part of that moniker Boogie Down Productions. So he decided go on his own and do his own thing. He went solo. So by '93, again, Return to Boom Bap, KRS-One, Jive Records. So by 1993, KRS-One went on to release his first solo album, Return to Boom Bap, on September 23rd, 1993. The lead single off the album was Out of Here, was produced by DJ Premier. The song dealt with the journey of hip hop history, but the song that stood out from the album was Sound of Police. Sound of the Police, talking about crooked police officers, and was produced by Showbiz from the DITC crew, Digging in the Crates crew. Showbiz, a great producer. You got Primo, so that shows he was going in another direction. You involved with certain producers that he probably didn't mess with before. He was obviously doing the BDP, albums. So this had to be the first introduction with Premier doing beats. Might be wrong about that, but y'all double check. Because '92 they came out with Sex and Violence. That was the last album they would make as a group. They went separate ways and did his thing. So what made this album different from the Boogie Down Productions albums was the fact that this album was not under the Boogie Down Productions umbrella. See, the producers on the album was DJ Premier, Showbiz, and Kid Capri. So this album, Return to Boom Bap, was number 5 on the R&B hip hop charts, and this album was KRS-One at zenith of the peak of his powers, despite not being no longer part of the BDP crew. Even though BDP was centered on KRS, he proved that without D Nice, Miss Melody, and Kenny Parker, KRS-One was able to hold his own as a solo artist. That's what made this album different. He was able to do his own thing without their presence. So, yeah, this is a classic album, The Return to Boom Bap. A question. Underrated, definitely underrated classic album because it bridged the gap between raw, stripped down New York street beats, socially conscious lyricism by enlisting producers like DJ Premier. The album helped birth a timeless, rugged East Coast sound while addressing police brutality, things that make the album historically vital but often overlooked next to flashy releases. Again, it was '93. You had Black Moon Into the Stage. You had Wu-Tang Clan coming out with Into the Wu-Tang. Nas Illmatic dropped the following year. So this is an underrated classic because of the pioneering production. When you look at the record, it helped standardize the boom bap subgenre. And if I step back from his own production, bringing it, then the rise of producers like, DJ Premier, Showbiz, and Kid Capri, KRS-One created a sound driven by heavy drum loops and minimal raw samples. Social political commentary, that was his thing when he was doing the stuff on the BDP albums. So it was nothing new with that. Sound of Police, Black Cop, used these songs to directly critique systemic issues, police brutality, institutional racism. Then the lyrical mastery continued to show that he could still do his thing, lyrically, with his dexterity, the raw energy, the vocal energy he was still at the top of his game. After all the years coming from the mid '80s and late '80s. So you got the underrated Shadow. Obviously, it was released during a monumental period of time at that time. Again, Wu Tang Clan entered the stage. Excuse me, enter the Wu Tang 36 Chambers. He was sandwiched between that and Illmatic by Nas. So it gets overshadowed in mainstream conversations, um, despite defining that era sound. So that's why it's so underrated. It's an underrated classic, man. One of the great albums, but underrated. Yes, sir. Like nobody's tuning in, that's okay. You can tune in later. But that's it, man. I'm done for the day. Got a lot more content coming tomorrow. Get ready as we continue to count down the top 50 underrated classic albums in hip hop history. It's going to be outstanding. All I got to do is to make it happen. Like I said, it's all good on this journey. I appreciate the support. It's at 670 subscribers. I'm not surprised. right? People love the content. But it's all about pushing 70, 700 subscribers to try to get to 1,000. So that's it. So we're done. Till then, talk to you tomorrow.